Hey everybody, it's Audrey. Welcome to day 14, a little delayed, day 14 of the Summer Scrappin Series. Today my guest is Laura Alberts. Laura has a very beautiful style. She has such great pages. Go check out her channel, which I will link below. So for this page today, I, for some reason, had a particular color combo in my head that I really wanted to use on a page, and it was kind of a navy blue, a mint, and a really bright pink. So I went through my stash of paints and mists and inks, and I decided to use these Pink Fresh watercolors. I remember them being very bold, and I really wanted to have the look of kind of dry brush strokes. So I'm just using, well, I started with a dry brush, but it wasn't covering very well. So I am adding a little bit of water and spritzing as I go along, and then just kind of doing strokes across my page. And now I'm actually using this minty color is Shimmers in, I think it's just called Mint. I mean, it has a cutesy name, of course, but it has mint in the title. And then it was not minty enough. It wasn't as bold as the blue, so I went through and added some cracked pistachio Distress Oxide ink, and that really brought out the more minty color. And then this is the pink, also very bold, but I just love those three colors together. I don't know why I decided I want to do this color combo, but that is what I wanted to go with. So I'm just going to go through some splatters here and do some splatters of each color on top of the inky areas. Off camera, after I finish this section here, I do go back with a couple other mists and add some a few more splatters over the top. So while that is drying, I went through my stash and found some papers that I thought would match, and I ended up using this Amy Tan, a couple Amy Tan collections, some older ones. One of them is Finders Keepers. I cannot remember what the other collection is called, but I really thought that these colors here picked up well the colors that I had in my background. But I did want to pull out one more brighter pink, so I went to a Chamel collection and just picked out this one bright pink paper. I'm also working with a cut file here. This is a little, it's called Signage Post, I think. It's from Paige Evans from her cut file collection. So I backed all of the cut file pieces with some pattern paper from the different Amy Tan collections and that one pink paper from the Chamel collection. And once my background had dried, I felt it was just really, really bold and almost too bold. So I'm going to go over it here with some white gesso just to tone down the brightness and the saturation of the color a little bit. So I have to wait for that to dry now, and in the meantime I saw on one of these Amy Tan papers a phrase that said we are on a very special journey, and it said called life, but I just cut off the called life part, so it's we are on a very special journey. And I thought that was cute, and I liked the gray, so I think I'm going to add some black elements here. So there's my photo, and it's of my kiddos and my dad taking the golf cart for a spin, which they love to do. And I have my signage posts all backed, and I just have to decide where to put them. So I went through the collection and picking out some other things. I love these clear acetate pieces. I wasn't sure how they were going to look over the painted areas, but they're actually not too bad. So I'm going to use a couple of these. So I'm just going to play around with positioning them here and there. And I really like how that looks, so I'll play around with these a little bit more. Obviously I've used this collection before, so I have some things that I've cut up before that I thought I was going to use in other projects that I sometimes just stick right in with my embellishment packs, like if I cut out a piece of paper or fussy cut something out. So I'll put those in with my embellishment packs. So I have a few phrases there that weren't in the embellishment packs but came from pattern papers and things like that. Okay, so I wanted to add a little bit more dimension here in the background and a little bit more movement. So I took this arrow stencil, and I really wish I went through with a more white modeling paste or some paint or something, but I'm using this, it's called Putting on the Glitz. It's a kind of a shimmery paste, but it dries clear, And I thought it was going to dry a little bit whiter, but it didn't. It dried a little bit more clear. So I'm just going to put the arrow, so you don't really end up even seeing the arrows too much in the blue and the green area. You can actually see it on the white area. But here's what happened after time. If you look at the pink section, where I did this particular paste, it had some type of reaction with the pink background, and it made it like just a neon fluorescent color. So you can really see those arrows there, and I really wasn't loving that. It was kind of orangey and just made a huge difference, I felt, in the colors that I had on the page. So I'll deal with that in a little bit here. So in the meantime, I'm going to go back through after that dry and start rearranging my embellishments again. I have the clear acetate die cuts, and I decided that I'm going to kind of use a whole bunch of clear items here. So I got these rub-on stickers, and I'm going to pull those out too and arrange those. By the way, I backed my photo with a piece of just scrap paper, and it was kind of a gray color, which I thought would pick up on some of the black elements. So these are little flowers from the rub-ons, and then this sheet is a transparency sheet, and it was a 12 by 12 transparency sheet that I hadn't even cut up, and I really wanted to use some of these elements on my page. So I'm going to cut out some phrases and some flowers and some leaves and some hearts, and I'll start scattering those around as well. By the way, I wasn't planning on adding in any yellow, but I was just going to leave it kind of the blue, the mint, and the green. I'm sorry, the blue, the mint, and the pink. But as I was going through the collection and the acetate pieces, I really liked little bits of yellow in there, so I decided to make one of the boards on my signpost. I backed it with yellow as well. All right, so now this is just really going to be me fiddling around with these little elements and deciding exactly where I want to place them. I didn't want to add too many black elements because I thought it was going to be too dark. I just wanted, a few to kind of, spread across the page. These ones are really pretty flowers. They're very light gray with black centers, and they're just they almost, when you hold them up, when you don't have them on a background, you almost can't tell that they're shaded gray, but they are lightly shaded and they're very pretty. Okay, so I'm going to start, I went through and picked out some alphas, and I'm going to start adding some words to my little signs. The name of the road that we are on is called Honoco Road, so I'm going to put on Honoco Road there. I also put a couple other phrase stickers on a couple of the signposts. My videos kind of skipped a little bit there, but you can see I have those words filled in. So I was ready to start kind of assembling everything together here, and I decided to start with the rub-ons, and I used this little green rub-on, the flower, and it would not rub off. As a matter of fact, it was terrible. I rubbed and rubbed and rubbed, and I thought, okay, maybe it's because I'm rubbing it over gesso and it's not sticky enough or something, and it was not because of the gesso. And here I am, well, this is another rub-on. I thought, let me try it on this 3x4 card. I even heated up a little bit, thought I might get the glue portion a little bit sticky, and look, it doesn't come off at all. And I know it was rubbing the right side. I wasn't rubbing the wrong side. So I wondered if I could just use the rub-ons, just like the clear acetate pieces, and just add glue to the back, and hopefully that they would stay. So I'll go back here in a little bit and try that. So just adding glue to the back of the rub-ons instead of rubbing them off completely. I'm going to glue these letters down. They were a little tricky. They would not stay. I was really trying to squeeze that word into this one sign. I just got it to fit in there. And I'm going to just put a little nick out of that D because I want it to look like that's behind the yellow part there of the sign. So I'll back my photo. And I just use liquid glue for these clear pieces, and you can't really even tell if you squish it down enough that the glue spreads out underneath the clear piece, and you can't even really tell that there's liquid glue there. Oh, you can see, by the way, I forgot to tell you this. I did this off camera too. I was really, those orangey arrows on the bottom, well, the arrows, the pink arrows that started to turn kind of orange, I went over that pink area with another layer of gesso, and it definitely toned down that neon bright orange. I mean, you can still see it a little bit there, but I did go over it with another layer of gesso off screen. So I'm going to pop the signs up there with some foam squares. I have some foam adhesive under my photo, and I'm just going to glue down all these little bits. Okay, so here I tried gluing the rub-on, and it actually worked. So I'm going to glue all the other little rub-ons, although I had not cut them out neatly. So I went back through like this little flower here, and I did kind of a nicer cut around the edge because I had just, you know, cut them wonky because I was planning on rubbing them off the paper, but hopefully they stay on there. I don't see why they wouldn't, but I felt like I needed just a couple more black flowers, so I'll put a few more here and there. And I don't really add too much more. I do my journaling on my journaling card there on the left. I think I cut out a couple more rub-ons and just add them on. So there's some tiny hearts and some tiny flowers. Yeah, this one finally came off, but I mean, I really had to rub to get that one little heart off. And I went back and added a date sticker as well. And I think that does it. Finished page is coming up here in just a second. And there it is. I do love all these pretty colors. And I love using those clear acetates. And by the way, it also feels really good to use up your stash. So thank you for joining me for day 14. This is the end of the second week of the Summer Scrappin Series. I will be back again the third week in August for my last week of the Summer Scrapping Series. So I hope you will join me then. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to check out Laura's channel as well, and stay scrappy, friends.